the largest number of folks who get SNAP benefits, which are Caucasians, which are white folks, being interviewed by anybody about how they feel about losing their SNAP benefits. I did not see one interview with one Caucasian person asking them, how do you feel about losing your SNAP benefits? Because it is propagated that they don't get SNAP benefits. It is propagated the only people getting quote unquote welfare or government assistance is black and brown folks. And that's where, family, we got to wake up how the propaganda machine is putting us out there as if we're the only people that are the needy and the greedy.
But Joe, back to the power of reading, right? We see when they first started making these housing, government housing situations, that wasn't for us.
Right.
When they first started making public housing and all that, that wasn't for us. But they eventually made us the face of the quote unquote ghetto and the face of the projects and the face of welfare. That wasn't on us in the beginning of that. And then the crack epidemic hit. We became the face of the crack babies and all this and that kind of stuff they was trying to make up. We wasn't the number one people doing that either.
Well, once again, like I said, it's not a problem. Understand. There's legislation out now. Right now, we got a war on opioids. Opioids. And on
no, they're sick. They're sick.
On opioids and fentanyl. These war on these drugs are because these drugs are now showing up in little Johnny and little Jane's neighborhood. Once again, look, they just had a murder. They just had a murder in the city I live in, the city we live in, yesterday.
Oh wow!
Yeah, let me ring a bell.
Yeah.
I'm not going to talk about that murder, but I'm going to talk about
Okay.
I also had the Holy Ghost Creole Festival Parade and Festival in Opelousas, where there was a whole lot of black and brown folks. When I say whole lot, thousands of black and brown folks.
Wow. Okay.
And there was nobody who got shot.
Yes.
There was a few altercations, minor altercations.
Okay.
However, those were resolved quickly.
Yeah.
There was a few folks walking around who shouldn't have had guns on them. Those guns were confiscated. To be exact, 4 guns were confiscated.
Okay.
And nobody got murdered. Nobody got shot. Nobody pulled out a gun. Hey, to me, when you get black and brown folks together and there's alcohol and illicit music and a good time having, and nobody, we just have a couple of tussles. Hey man, I'm ringing the bell.
A win is the win. A win is the win.
We're gonna celebrate those wins. We're gonna celebrate those wins. However, tragically, in the city I live in, because I work in this municipality that's about 30 minutes up going north from where I live, but in the municipality I live in the city. But see, I ain't gonna do like Trump. Folks will go, Joe live in a municipality? What's that? See, that's just like the tariff game they played on you. Everybody talked about Republicans hate taxes. And Trump came in and said, I hate taxes too, but I'm going to levy a bunch of tariffs. And somebody said, wait a minute. Somebody who reads, John said, I never forget how my guy did it. Wait a minute. A tariff is a tax. So I just called it another name that you ain't never heard it called before. And all of a sudden, what I'm against is what I'm for. No, if you say you're gonna put a lot of tariffs and this fictitious $2,000 check, or you got people jumping around over 2 things right now, like it's about to happen, and ain't no legislation went in place say it's going to happen. Trump's getting ready to send us all a $2,000 check. And man, did you hear? They're gonna make that you can finance your house for 50 years.
I heard about that. Heard about that.
Let me tell you something. Until the ink is dried and it is in place, if was a fifth, we all be drunk.
Right.
Because right now the government is still closed. They have not solidified this agreement that 8 folks decided to cross the aisle, and all it takes is one of those 8 to change their mind before the vote is casted. And guess what? We back at square one.
Man. So, I mean, out of all times, why is the news be abreast? I mean, right now is a key time to stay plugged in, stay tuned with them, man, because we're living in some real serious times right now, man.
Hey, John, my mama and daddy always told me, and I didn't learn this until a few years ago, to be honest. It wasn't that many years ago till I learned this. Never count your chickens before they hatch.
No.
I ain't trusting nothing until it's done. So, with 22 minutes past the hour, let me do this. Sean, first, let me thank you for your service. Navy man, happy Veterans Day to you. Big ups to all my brothers out there that are on the seas and in the air and all over the place, because the Navy is all over the waters and all over some other places too. I call them squids, and that's my laughing, joking way of doing it, because my oldest son is a squid also. But big ups to all my Navy guys. I know I got a bunch of guys on here that are from the Marines.
Yep.
Y'all the most craziest folks on the planet.
Yes, they are.
Said it, I meant it, and I'm gonna keep it that way.
Yes, they are.
To all my brothers who served in the Marines, to all my people who got a job, a regular job. Y'all ain't in the military, but y'all wear uniforms and y'all look like y'all in the military. Y'all Air Force guys, big ups to all my guys who got a job in the Air Force. Happy Veterans Day. That's a joke.
That's right.
Pat and a couple other guys I know that's in the Air Force. To my Coast Guard guys, y'all some hardworking dudes too. Y'all ain't nothing but police in another manner with a little more authority. So big ups to my Coast Guard guys, to our Merchant Marines. They veterans too now. In case you didn't know who the Merchant Marines are, you might need to look up at them also. Hey, to all the armed forces is out there, including the National Guards and the reserves. If you served in the reserves or the National Guard of any of these branches, happy Veterans Day to you.
Well, Joe, let me ask you a question real fast as far as this topic, right? How would you imagine being in the military active right now under the current administration? How would you envision that if that was your case?
Son, I don't know. My oldest son is in it, and there's some things that are different, Sean. I know.
Yeah.
I don't know when you got in. I've been Army strong since
2000.
I've been Army strong since 1985. That's when I raised my hand and swore an oath to the Constitution to defend it with my life if need be.
Yeah.
Let me say the following about the military. Military has really seriously changed. When I was in, it wasn't that we didn't do things with the Navy, the Air Force, the Marines, or any other military branch or any other government entity.
Yes.
We kind of had our own thing, and every once in a while we might come together, we might not. Man, right now, everybody, JSOC is the new thing. That's what my son always tells me, Joint Operations Center.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody in the same roof, in the same room, talking the same, and I never had that pleasure. I never had that pleasure. I might run into a Marine or a Navy guy every blue moon, an Air Force guy, but we had our own base and we were doing our own thing and they were doing their own thing. It's different these days.
Being in the Navy, we were transporting Marines to different things, and we had air crew on our ship doing air operations and all that. So, being on the aircraft carrier, you kind of sort of had kind of a thing like that going on,
Yeah, only time I even talked to you guys was like, I'll be honest, when I was in Iraq, I remember a couple of times because I was in an infantry support unit that was a forward observing unit. We would go try to find the enemy, see the enemy, mark the enemy, and tell people, hey, don't go there. That's where the tanks are. That's where the troops are. Or we would send fire missions to the enemy. That's about the only time I talked to you guys.
You were doing recon, Joe? You were doing recon?
I would look and see them, and then we do this number. Well, what do you think we need to do? Well, I think we might need to drop a little artillery on them. So I would call my people first. Hey, guys, we saw some guys.
Yeah.
We've got the map, and we know where they're at. Why don't y'all drop a little artillery on them? They might be busy dropping artillery on somebody else, and guess what they tell me? The airspace is full right now, sir. You're going to have to direct that to another somebody. So then I go through my little list. If I check with my folks first, then I check with y'all. I say, hey, do I have a cruiser or a destroyer off the coast that can drop a few Tomahawks? We got some people out here we need to get rid of. And they'll either say yes, no. That's the only time I talk to you. I talk to the Navy when I need a couple of Tomahawks. Look, guess what? Y'all got some pretty good guns on y'all ships too.
You better believe it.
Hey, I need to drop a fire mission and have them. I need them 155s to drop a little Willie P for me. a little
But they
white
say
phosphorus.
send it,
For those who
send
don't
it,
know what that Willie P is,
send it.
you know, hey, I needed to stick to kids. So you know, that's what they used to say, because napalm stick to kids. But you know, that's the only way I talk to you. That was
Yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah.
I only one time
Yeah.
talked to a Navy guy who was a pilot. We were trying to get some infantry off our tail, and all our warthogs was, and y'all had a Hornet out there, and the Hornet said, "Don't worry about it, sir. I got you." And all we heard was a sonic boom and a beep, and next thing we know, he said, "Ain't no whoever was chasing you ain't chasing you no more."
Yeah.
Hey,
So,
that's
so,
it.
so
So
then
happy
you said 1985, right?
1985, sir.
I was 4 years old in '85, which is crazy. Tell me if you can your most proud, like your most proud, like veteran moment, or your most proud veteran memory. Like, man, you know, Sean, if it even exists, I don't know.
John, I'll be honest with you. You know,
Okay.
you know me personally.
Yes,
You know
sir.
me personally. I'm about 5'8". I'm overweight now. I used to not be overweight, but I'm 5'8". I'm probably about 180, 189, maybe between 190 and 195
Now,
right
hold
now.
on, Joe. Hold on, Joe. You my size, roughly, basically.
Right,
I don't
right.
feel overweight.
So hold on. Trust me. For our height, we really need to be about 170. And I'm doing everything right now to work out and lose weight. Now listen, I ain't got no big fat beer belly. I don't drink or nothing like that, but I can tone up a little bit more. And I do
Yeah,
work
I
out.
get
I know that
I
because
get
Sean see me. Sean know
yeah.
I be biking, running, all that
Oh
good
yeah,
stuff. So
oh yeah.
so in my military days, I was really just lean, mean fighting machine, but still
Yeah,
I was a little man. I wasn't no big, tall, 6-something,
yeah.
built like a as I tell people, an army tank. So you know, when
Yes, sir.
sometimes when I was an infantry guy, I started off as an artillery guy. I was always combat arms. So when I went to some of these training, when I went to air assault school and I went to airborne school, and because I was an infantry officer, I had no other choice. I had to go to Ranger school. That's a part of it. You got to either pass one or the other, or you got, but even if you pass airborne and don't pass air assault, or you pass air assault and don't pass airborne, as an infantry officer, you got to go to Ranger school. It's back when I signed up, it was like you ain't got a choice.
Yeah. Yeah.
When I made it through these trainings, I was very proud of myself because I didn't think I
Wow.
could make it because I was small. I didn't think, but then I learned about leadership, mind over matter, and I found out that a lot
Yes.
of the stuff you go through in life, it has nothing to do with you physically. It has to do with mentally. You done told yourself what you can and can't do.
Come on, man.
So one thing the
Come on,
military
man.
taught me is
Yes, sir.
half the stuff you saw in the movie is a lie.
Yeah.
That ain't the military.
No, come on.
You can make it, you can do it. You just have to discipline yourself to put in a regiment where the sacrifices you make, it will happen. You know, as Jules just said, and she was correct, it's your attitude. Your
Yes.
attitude
Yes.
will connotate and dictate the altitude, how high you
Yes.
go.
Yes.
When I put myself to a place, Sean, that I said, you know what? I'm going to eat healthy. I'm going to run 3 miles a day, every day. I'm going to do 1 mile hard in the morning. I'm going to do 1 mile midday hard, and I'm going to do 1 mile in the evening hard, which equals up to 3 miles. I come to find out that it's really what you say you're going to do and what you sacrifice not doing. When I stopped eating some of the crap and I started running and I started understanding the air intake and how to run, I was running country miles. You know, when we would go on some of those we were notorious for doing 5-mile runs in the morning.
Yeah.
You know, it was nothing. You know, we would wake up, do formation, let's go run. And we would run until we couldn't run no more. And after a while, you start running so much that it becomes second nature. It's just like when people who are overweight start working out, and all of a sudden they wake up one day and say, "Man, I done lost all this weight. What happened?" Your mind said, "Stop doing that crap that's killing you," and your mind did something that would make you more healthier. And you just gotta look. My proudest military moments is is the times that I passed schools that I thought I couldn't pass, and the camaraderie I had with some of my fellow military soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines, folks that I served with, where there was times I was in Iraq and we're sitting out in the desert at nighttime talking about home and high school and back. Times I was in Somalia, times I was in Bosnia, times I was in Panama, times I was in some godforsaken country with some other country boy that was either from Tennessee or from Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, or from Boston, Massachusetts. I had a very good friend of mine that was from Boston, used to talk crazy. He's always, man, I'm gonna go get me some coffee and some chocolate. I don't know what y'all doing over here talking crazy. You know, and these people you meet, man, you want. I got lifetime friends now. I got a partner at Fort Sill, Oklahoma right now. He live in Lawton, Oklahoma. I go see him from time to time. I got my partner, Darren, big ups, hold it. Darren Byerson. Me and Darren, not only were we in the military, we got out the military, stayed in a foreign country for a year or two, not in the military. You know, my oldest son is half European. And so we lived a life outside the military in a foreign country, working. I worked for the embassy at that time. I mean, bro, I got so many memories I can't even begin to tell you, Sean. What's some of your fondest memories? Talk to me.
Yeah, I was saying, can I share one? I've never said it publicly before on any podcast, anything like that. This is kind of exclusive, right? So the year after 9/11, we were on deployment overseas, and we were in Australia, right? We were in Darwin, Australia, Joe. And this is the first time the U.S. Navy is going to raise up the "Don't Tread on Me" flag to commemorate 9/11.
Right, the yellow flag with the snake.
Yes, because we're in Australia, we were ahead on the time zones. So whenever they select me to raise up the flag, it's like world news. My mama has news clippings of me all over all these magazines and news. But now, of course, back then, this is like 2002, something like that. I had no understanding. There was no social media. There was no smartphones and all that. So this is unbeknownst to me. I'm like an 18, 19-year-old kid. I got selected. Hey, you Polidor, go and do this thing at 6 in the morning, 7 in the morning. You know, of course, we are all night clubbing and partying and all that. So in my little uniform, go out there, raise the flag up. I think nothing of it at all, Joe, in real time. But my point to you is, hindsight, looking back on it, like, that was actual naval history. That's world history. Like, I'm a part of naval history for the rest of my life. And my point is, sometimes things happen so fast in your life, and in real time, you don't realize the significance and the importance and the gravity of it when it's happening.
Right.
But, you know, anybody watching the podcast today or whenever, like, just take things more slowly if you can and really try to enjoy the moment. I also be focused on partying and clubbing all night. The 6 in the morning, Joe, was an inconvenience to me. That's how I felt at 18, 19 years old. And I regret that, you know, to be honest.
You know, I look back and I remember when I was stationed in Alexandria, Egypt, and we went up to Cairo and we went to see the pyramids. There are places that the military has taken me.
Yes.
You know, I laugh. Yeah. My oldest son, Alexander Darrell Anderson, and big ups to Lieutenant Commander Anderson, who was born in Nuremberg, Germany. He was not born in an American hospital. He was born in Nuremberg, Germany, in a German hospital, because at that time, and be exact, his mother and I were never married. But dual citizenship. Actually, he's got 3 citizenships. He's got French, German, and American, but decided to go the American way. You know, and you go back and you look at those times. You know, I remember when I was in Nuremberg, I used to be stationed in Nuremberg. That's my first overseas duty station, Merrill Barracks, Nuremberg, Germany. They called it the Gangster Hotel. Merrill Barracks used to be home of the German notorious SS during World War II. To be exact, when I first got to Merrill Barracks, I looked at it and it still had shelling holes in it from where Patton rolled up and tried to blow it off the map with his tank regiment.
Yeah.
So
that's crazy.
They had a place on the street from Merrill Barracks called the Dusendikes, and it was literally the big auditorium where Hitler used to speak and give some of his most heinous speeches to the people about how the Germans were going to take over everything. And, you know, when I had the opportunity to see, I actually saw a concentration camp. I was actually at a German concentration camp and saw it with my own eyes. I saw a prisoner of war camp. And there's things you see when we were in Korea and we went to the DMZ. When you go to that line where it said, you cross this line, it's on and popping. You know, it's just things we got to see, brother. We got to, the military was my first opportunity to see the motherland. I would have never on my own got to see the motherland. And, you know, I saw 4 different countries in Africa in the United States military. You know,
that's great.
Let you get to see places. I remember it was the military that got me to see my first penguin. My first penguin, I saw it aboard a Navy vessel in the military at the South Pole. I said, wow, that's a real penguin. You know, there's just things you'll get to see.
Now, but you just at the South Pole, right?
Right.
So you was at the South Pole.
Right.
That's great. That's great.
So let me say this though. So let me say this to everybody out there that hears all the good stories. Let me tell y'all the truth about it. Let me tell y'all a little truth here.
Yeah.
When I raised my hand and swore my oath, I knew absolutely not what I was doing. I was just trying to get away.
Yeah.
So let me give these future generations who hear guys like me and Sean an ex-Navy guy, I'm an ex-Army guy. I am, and I have no shame in it. I'm 58 years old. I am less than 2 years from being 60. To be exact, because I am right now back in school to, if the Lord allows me to, and I believe he will, I see light at the end of the tunnel. I am in a PhD program to get my PhD in criminal justice. I'm still the same Joe. I don't need
Dr. Joe.
I don't need that title though. I need that knowledge. See,
what do we call you at that point? We call you doc. We got doctor. Which one?
There's one doctor in my family. Well, there's two. There's two.
Okay.
I actually have a daughter. Who's a marine biologist. But I have my grandson. His nickname is Dr. J. His name is Jordan Lilly. His name is Jordan Quest. Jordan Quest Lilly. So I don't call him Quest. I call him Dr. J because I want him to be all he can be, and I want him to be it sooner than I was. So let me say this. We got to stop chasing titles and we got to start chasing knowledge. A lot of folks don't know. In this program, I'm starting to learn there's a difference between social media knowledge, because a lot of y'all are social media doctors, social media lawyers, social media commentators, but y'all don't understand the rules that are really governing what's really going on. Y'all only know what social media told you. We've got to do better. You got to put something in you they can't take away from you.
You know what I was saying, Joe?
Watch this. You can take away my title.
Yeah.
You can always take away my title, but you can't take away the knowledge I obtained.
No. What I was saying to the social media knowledge thing, right? It's good for a jump off point. It's good for a starting place. But I would definitely implore anybody watching this, after that jump off point, go to some deeper levels on that thing. So Google is great. ChatGPT, all these things they have now, they're great to get a good surface summary of, a general idea of this thing. But I gotta go and get deeper than that to be able to talk about it.
Sometimes, let me give you a prime example. I just left Little Rock, Arkansas. Okay. Sometimes you got to go to the place. Normally, when I go to Little Rock, there's 2 things I've seen in Little Rock. I've experienced in Little Rock. I think everybody, when you go to certain places, you got to experience what the natives see. Even though I went to the Clinton Library, first presidential library I've ever went to, still got the tickets where I went to the Clinton Library. I also went to Central High because that was the school that got integrated. And has a history of its own. So I got to see everything to have an understanding of anything. And that's the problem. Some of us try to stay one track minded. Like right now, I'm watching black and brown folks who are giving themselves titles of community activists, revolutionaries, and all this. And don't get me wrong, if that's how you see it, who am I to say that's who you're not? However, go and read about Huey P. Go and read about the Black Panthers. Go read about Marcus Garvey. Go read some W.E.B. Du Bois. Go read some Shirley Chisholm. Go read some people who are real revolutionaries, real community activists, who in the face of everything against them said, hell no, I'm not budging or moving. Understand that our sister who said, I'm not giving up my bus seat, wasn't the first one to say it. She was just the one that had the better look that we felt like at that time to be the face of the movement. So just because you said it and we promoted you saying it and we said it was you, you may have not been the first, because even back then, Black folks were strategic enough to understand that certain folks, you can't be the face of the movement. You ain't got the look. You ain't got the charisma. You ain't got this. But once you become the face of the movement, you lose a lot. You gain a lot, but you lose a lot. Just think about it. Everything has a cost.
I mean,
everything has a cost.
I'm going to say this too, to add on to that. For today's activists and all that kind of stuff, these self-proclaimed titles, it's real easy behind these gadgets and phones to do something like that, man. Because you're not putting any real skin in the game, as they call it. Back then, it was certain things you had to go out there and really actually do, like most things in life, to really call yourself something like that. Even in the underworld, Joe. Even in the underworld, you can't call yourself to be a gangster or this and that without certain things you got to go out there and do. It's just how life was. But now with these devices, I can call myself anything right now. And who's to say otherwise? You know what I'm saying? So, call yourself anything.
So I just look out the left corner of my eye, Sean, and it says here, Trump denies affordability is an issue, claims that the root cause are a con by the Democrats. So once again, now listen to what I'm saying. The verbal jujitsu coming out of the Republican Party is mastery. Man, they verbal jujitsu and how they man, listen, these are Jedi Knights. These are not, and they have
in the Matrix. Yeah, that one hand.
Convince folks, these are not the droids you're looking for. And what? A lot of folks out here have the mentality of stormtroopers, easily manipulated. Guess what y'all say? Oh, go ahead. These ain't the droids we're looking for. Keep moving. Y'all got to pay attention. There's no way on earth you can control the presidency, the Senate, and the House of Representatives, and everything ain't your fault. Everything good, you get credit for. Everything bad, it's on them other folk. It don't work like that, baby. It don't work like that. As a man in a house, that I am the king of my castle. Everything that happens in my house, I'm responsible for it. If it's good, I'm responsible. If it's bad, I'm responsible. I am accountable and responsible for everything that happens underneath my roof. I can't jump up and say, oh, the kid, y'all to blame. No, I gotta look at my parenting. My wife, my woman, my spouse, my partner, for those who don't rock that way, whoever in the house that love you. Because there are some men that have house that have other men in the house with them. I'm talking to anybody. If you are the king of your castle, whatever goes on in your castle, you respond, oh, my partner don't love me right. Well, you might need to look at what you put out. See, sometimes you got to look at yourself and say, why am I not receiving what I feel like I need to receive? Have I put myself in a position to receive it? Or am I myself pushing folk away from me?
Right.
So
I heard of you the sun and she the moon, she reflects to you, right?
Come on. So Sean, if as a man, I'm taking responsibility in my house, but all of a sudden I'm going to let you hold it because you only, once again, understand what a president is. A president, maybe some of y'all might need to go back and watch Good Will Hunting. Or I forgot the other little movie. There was another movie out there. I forgot the name of it. Had my man Joe Pesci in it. And Pesci was a bum at Harvard University. And he made it clear, the president ain't nothing but a bum, an elected bum. He represents the people. So you guys start asking yourself, and I say this again, are the people y'all putting in these political positions, how many of them have lived the life that you live? In order for me to represent you, sometimes I got to know exactly what you've been through. And here you are, you're electing folks that kids have never went to public school, but you're electing folks to resolve a public school issue that they kids ain't never went to public school.
Man, Joe, it's funny you saying this, right? On the way coming to this, hearing the podcast about these senators and all that stuff, the guy was saying, some of these people are so out of touch. They've been in politics 30, 40 years. They're not on the ground level with the people no more. They talk to a couple of little pundits and all that. They talk to a little lobbyists. They go on CNN, make a little thing. But like for the most part, they're on the congressional floor and all that. They're not dealing with the everyday people no more. They're detached.
Listen,
they're detached.
Listen, we have folks that we elect to office that come from the hood. Let me stop, Sean. We got folks that and once they get a taste of that Kool-Aid called politics, all of a sudden they forget. Boy, they forget, boy and girl. Let me say it just like that. Y'all forget where y'all come from. Then y'all try to figure out why when you dive into that water that is shark invested, stay true to from whence you came. If the hood got you in there, stay true to the hood and help the hood out. But oh no. And it's not all of you. Yesterday, I talked to a pastor. I got to say this, Sean. It's 11 minutes to the top of the hour. The pastor said something that moved my soul. We constantly criticize the church. When are we going to start criticizing the parishioners? Because you go to church by choice. Ain't nobody put a gun to your head and make you go to church. So if you go, watch this. That's a good thing. I'm going to say something and put a little my dirty laundry out there. I have people all the time asking me, why are you not a part of a certain organization? Why are you not a part of this group or that group? I have to be 100% committed before I do anything. And right now, I am committed to an organization and a group, and I cannot commit myself to anybody else. Why? Because that will spread me too thin. See, I don't need all these plaques hanging on my wall. All the plaques hanging on my wall come from one organization and one organization only. That's the one I'm in and the one I represent. I don't need 50 million plaques from 50 million organizations because now I done spread myself too thin. See, some of y'all are too busy trying to be popular. I am working in purpose. My purpose may never be popular, but my purpose will get to the point and will produce a resolution to help my people.
You know what else too, Joe? With you being like that, you're able to stand more solid and firm on what you're saying. Some of the folks that's a part of all these things, you got to kind of try to double talk because you never know what room you're going to be in next. You never know who you're going to be around next. You don't want to misspeak and upset them and then made them mad. If you're on that straight and narrow line, I can just talk freely. I'm not worried about stuff like that.
John, I learned this the hard way. And something that I kind of was in, but really wasn't in. You've got to figure out what your lane is and stay in that lane. Now, understand, you might not, you got to choose sometime between popularity and purpose. And that's hard because folks want to be popular. Folks want to be influencers. Folks want to be liked. I done got to the point in my life, I give less than a damn, Sean, how people feel about me. I have a purpose. And that purpose is to be a beacon to my family, to my children and my grandchildren. When I walk across this stage in August of 27 and I get hooded, Dr. Joe Anderson, I could care less how y'all feel about it. But I will say the following, and I could care less. Some of my family members done told me, man, you stupid. What you doing, bro? That don't make no sense. I could care less. But guess what? I know one little boy named Jordan Quest Lilly. He gonna have a picture of his grandfather in his doctoral robe with his hood on. And every time somebody say, Jordan, what you can't do, guess what Jordan gonna tell him? My Papa Joe at age 60 went and got his. I'm gonna go get mine.
Looking like a Jedi master. A Jedi,
bruh,
a Jedi master.
Hey. I'm working right now on a custom robe. Some folks don't know. I might take the hood off and I might straight up and come out. I might reach deep inside the thing.
Hey, at that point, Joe, you are the one. You are the one.
Hey, they really don't know. Brother, I cried until I didn't cry yesterday. I was on a lecture yesterday. It was the most boringest lecture of my life. I called my better half and I said, oh my God, this is the type of dude you want when you want folks to confess, because they're going to confess just to shut them up. Man, I confess. I did it. But I realized something. I done made it over the hard part now. I done turned in 2 papers. They were very difficult papers to write. Both my papers got rejected. I had to rewrite them, rework them, had to learn how to work. See, watch this. We got to learn how to work these channels that you're normally not used to being in. See, I didn't know I need to have 5 doctors I know who already done been through this, who can review my stuff and say, hey, doc, that sound good, but it ain't got no substance. Your professor gonna kick it back and say, oh, good words, nice, but no, because what you do can't have a crescendo to it. It has to have logic. See, I can't walk in there and talk like I'm James T. Kirk. See, I compare my journey right now in this doctoral degree as me being on Star Trek. You got Kirk, who was a finesser. Oh, Kirk was a finesser. Oh, let me talk to you, ladies. Let me talk to you. Let me talk to you, Cleons. Let me talk to you. Romulans. He was a finesser. But the person who always made sure they were straight was Spock. Spock was pure. Hold up, Kirk. That's not logical. And when you're dealing with doctoral degrees, all that finessing ain't gonna do nothing. You best hit them with lie. You best have a reference, a law, and a reference to that reference that does not override that reference. Because if you don't, they're gonna tell you what you wrote was pretty.
Let me give a little tidbit for the channel for educational purposes, right?
Come on.
My whole time in college, 6 years. That first week of class, Joe, like a scrimmage game to me. That first paper I write, I'm trying to find out how the professor gonna grade the paper.
Come on now.
I know the rest of the semester he grade hard, he grade lenient. I know how to write now. And then every paper thereafter, I'm writing it to that format right there, Joe. That first critique he giving me, now I know what not to do ever again the whole semester, and I will get an A in the class. Once I know how they are grading this thing, that's a wrap, Joe.
Hey,
that's a wrap.
Guess what? Hold on. And in the words of Danica Lynette Anderson, knowing after battle. All right, family. 5 minutes. 5 minutes to the top of the hour. I'm going to say it again. We pray for everyone who is suffering during this time of government shutdown. That a resolution gets reached that brings the government back into operation. It will come at a cost. And the question will be, are you the people ready to pay the cost for the government to open back up? Because it's not going to just open back up and everything's going to be the way it needs to be like it was before. Things have seriously changed. There are some folks, once it opened back up, they ain't going to have their job. Their job is gone. It was planned that their job be gone.
It's all gone.
Right, hold it. And their job ain't coming back. everybody ain't going to be happy when the government opens back up. Some of you who are SNAP recipients, you're good for one more year. If this plan that they have in place winds up being the plan that gets the government back open. However, your health is your wealth. And let me say the following.
Yes.
They have not come up with a resolution on health care.
No.
And let me say the following. Me giving you $2,000 does nothing if you have a disease or an illness where your medication costs $25,000 a month.
Yes. Come on now. Come on now.
Okay, let me say that again. Me giving you $2,000 does absolutely nothing if the medication that keeps you alive costs $25,000 a month. I didn't say 2,500. I said 25,000.
Zeros.
There are people who have medication right now that their medication bill is upwards to tens of thousands of dollars monthly.
And then in today's inflation, I mean, $2,000 is like, was it like nothing? $2,000 is like, come on, man.
Bro,
Not saying you wouldn't want it as far as the everyday person, but $2,000 in the grand scheme of things, $2,000 is nothing, bro.
And that's the problem. That's the problem. We can give you crumbs and make you feel like the crumbs is something. Then you got all these social media influencers and these so-called real estate gurus talking all this. Listen, I ain't got time for that. First of all, how did you get it? How did you get it? Did you get it out the mud? Or who did you sell out to get it? Because see, look, I'm in the business. I'm in the business, Sean. Folk don't know how many investigation and interrogation rooms I done walked in where your boy or your girl who, when they in them streets, I ain't snitches. Snitches get stitches. But as soon as I walk in the room with a couple of folks, they the first one talking about, I tell you everything.
Hold on, Joe. Hold on. Wait. They talk before the Popeyes chicken?
Before the Popeyes chicken.
Before the Popeyes?
Before the Popeyes. Before the Popeyes. See, mind you, on the first 48, you know what time it is when you see it with the Popeyes and the burger from McDonald's. Oh, they done told. Hold it. They tell us, let them tell everything before that.
This should be sponsored by Popeyes, man. Sponsored by Popeyes.
This snitching session is sponsored by a 2-piece and a biscuit, okay? They ain't built like they used to be. I can say that. I can listen. I say that to my son all the time when it comes down to the military. I didn't have no mobile device when I was in the military. When I was in the military, when I was in college, and my father made me go to the military because he said in order to be a good officer, you got to know how it feels to be a good private. I remember in my private days, in my 4 years of college, I remember my first basic training at Fort Sill, Oklahoma, where one drill sergeant black snatched me up by the collar and literally skull drugged me to the back of the formation and said, say it again, boy. And guess what? I didn't write him up. I didn't go crying, talking about he put his hands on me. He told me this: you best be glad I'm touching you. If you ever fall into a POW camp, you're going to really know how it feels to get somebody to put their hands on you. I ain't a big Pete Hegseth fan, but Pete did say something that made a lot of sense to me. We got to stop being soft on this thing. These people we preparing folks to go to war. I've been in war. I've been in conflict. I've been in a military conflict with the other person on the other end with a Russian-made AK-47 with nothing on their mind but taking my life. Y'all, listen, I want all y'all real gangsters. Why don't y'all join the military? They need folk to fight. Just saying.
I've been saying it for a long time.
All right, brother. 1 minute past the hour, man. It's been real. It's been fun. Will I get to catch you tomorrow? I know you always working. You a busy man.
I'll be here tomorrow.
Hold on. Tell me about the Griot podcast. Tell me about Tell me about the Sean P. Tell me what you got going on. Let's get ready to get up out of here.
Let's do it. So tonight on the Sean P Experience, have a real major show. One of the biggest writers in modern times, award-winning Kiese Layman. And the second time is going to be on the Sean P Experience tonight at 5:00 p.m. Central Standard Time on YouTube. Go to the channel, subscribe, notification bell, like, share, all the things. Kiese Layman is going to be in the building. The writer of the award-winning book, Heavy, and also Loan Division. He'll be in the building tonight on the Sean P Experience. Don't miss it.
That part. My man, Sean P. Love him dearly. Listen, family, 2 minutes past the hour. I got to get up out of here. Happy Veterans Day to everyone who has served. I got to work today. I've got business to do. But like Sean said, if you're a veteran, there are a lot of things that are free and available to you for today. There's a lot of good meals. You shouldn't have to pay for a meal because you did sacrifice, raising your hand, swearing an oath, and you made it through. Let us be sensitive. I know it's not Memorial Day, but let us be sensitive to this. Our fellow veterans who came back, but left a brother or a sister over there because they didn't make it back due to them giving the ultimate sacrifice for this country. There are brothers and sisters who have a lot of remorse that they came back and their people didn't come back. So let's keep them in prayer. Those who have PTSD, those who have other illnesses that were brought on by them serving in the military, those who have lost an arm, a leg, or an appendage, or themselves were wounded in battle, but still lived and now are out the military. Let's have compassion for those also. All right, family, time for me to get up out of here. I'll be back tomorrow. This whole month, I may be in sometimes. I may be out. Ed, newsflash. Starting in February of next year, I'm gone until Essence. I will be gone until June. I will be gone. Essence is in July. I'll be gone until June. I will not have a broadcast from February until June the 1st. I will be gone. Time that I have things to do and other stuff to do, and I can't be on the podcast every morning. But guess what? Sean P will still be doing his thing. Other folks will be doing their thing. And I may have some brothers, I'm going to talk to Brother Bowtie. Brother Bowtie may take this over and make this still him being on here without me. And he can do that. So with that being said, be better today than you were yesterday and do something today to bless somebody somewhere that no matter what you do, there's no earthly way you could ever get paid back by them. Because what you gave free. And always remember that there is no secret what God can do, what he has done for others, willing he can do for you. For when God is with you, nothing or no one can stand against. Excuse me. Be blessed. Have a great day. It is Veterans Day. For those of you who are celebrating Veterans Day, for those of you who are off on Veterans Day, remember, we are the home of the free because of the brave. Up out of here. Peace.